Okay, I'm going to take you through the PT assignment, so the case study. So you'll have done the business section and the business assignment, and then you get on to the actual programming assignment. So it's in a way similar to the gym assignment, but this time you're with your client, you are taking them through you're writing for them an 8-week program, so a progressive predicted program. So you can train them for 8 weeks. Some people do, which is really nice if you can. But most people just write it out as an 8-week plan as to how you anticipate the training going. You have got your sections in the online platform. After the business section, you've got the case study assignment there, and you've got overview of the assignment and the template. Now the template, obviously, you've already got in the workbook, so you don't really need to look at the template there, but do look at that overview of the assignment on the platform. Just read through all that there before you begin anything. This is the workbook part. The first part of the assignment is to devise a logo that you can put in. Just show you where you put that in. There. Put your logo there. In that blank area there. One thing you can also look through before we go back to the summary is this planning assignment criteria. This is the marking criteria. So everything on here we're looking for in your assignment. So you could just read through that and think, well, have I done that before you actually hand it in. Okay, so let's go back to part 1, which was the logo. Part 2, which is it's design a set of personal training documentation using your business name on our logo. Now you've got some templates here. You've got an informed consent form, a risk stratification questionnaire, a client consultation interview form, goal setting contracts, timetable of sessions, progressive program overview, and sample cards. You've got these here, so there's no need to do that for yourself. Just use these here, but study them so that you make sure you know the content of them, so that you know what you're using when you are doing your work with your client. Part 3 then is to work through a minimum of 8 weeks and plan the 8 weeks of exercise and nutrition to meet their needs, and then you've got to make sure that you're following these criteria here. So you've got to conduct an initial screening, different from the gym instructor. The gym instructor was a simple PAR-Q questionnaire, which is 6 questions, really minimal information. But this one, you've got to risk stratify your client. You use the ACSM guidelines for this one. You've got some information. Just go down to it. This is the risk assessment questionnaire. Obviously more than 6 questions here. Client answers. So you're looking for the ACSM risk stratification. Looks like this. So what you're looking for are cardiovascular disease, coronary heart disease risk factors. Counting them up. Is the client got 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever? Are there any major signs and symptoms of cardiovascular, pulmonary or metabolic diseases? which are these here. Do they have any known diagnosed diseases there? So you're putting them into low, moderate or high risk, and then follow the instructions for those. Let's go back to the summary. So conduct initial screening, that's fine. This one is just a little note about blood pressure. The advice is do not measure blood pressure. Make sure your client is in regular contact with their GP. If they're over 40 for men and 50 for women, and are moderate risk, so that you know that they know what their blood pressure is. So you don't want to be responsible for telling the client that they've not got high blood pressure, so you need them to go and get that measured at their GP. It might be with a practice nurse or whatever, but they need to get that on their record, and they need to come and tell you that they have had it measured, and that what it was it normal, was it getting high, borderline, was it high. So we're not in the business of diagnosing blood pressure or even measuring it, so to make sure that's in place. You can do some anthropometric measurements. You can do BMI, you can do waist circumference, hip to waist ratio, you could do body composition, you can measure cardiovascular fitness, you can do flexibility, range of motion, you can do any muscular fitness tests. So choosing something that is in line with the client's goals. Conduct a client consultation, which you will audio tape, similar to your level 2 gym one, but more in depth, maximum 20 minutes, and record the information on your form. And all the information you need to record is here. Goal setting, make sure you're using specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-bound goal setting. I'll show you where you put those in a little while. Complete your timetable of sessions. So in a week, what sessions are they doing? The scenario for this case study is that you're training with your client in person twice a week, and they also might be doing extra sessions themselves. If they are, then you can plan that in, but you won't be writing them on your cards. You just need to know what the client is doing on their own. I mean, sometimes if clients don't have time in the session, then the personal trainer can prescribe doing some of the flexibility training, for example, in their own time. But you need to make sure that you've got all that logged, so that you've got your cardio sessions, all your muscle groups repeated at least twice a week, and flexibility also for each muscle group repeated twice a week. And then the next one is plan your progressive program. That means where we're starting from in terms of frequency, intensity, duration. Week 1, where do we go? Week 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, how do these things change over time? You're including cardio machines, so you're doing cardio systems, continuous fartlek leg or interval training, and your resistance training are including the main training systems there. And your progressive plan must include at least one core stability exercise. What I would do is go up to this point here, which is just plan the progressions before you write out the cards. Let me see your program there, your assignment there, so that you don't spend time writing program cards and writing out your progressions in longhand. Just do the templates, the little diagrams, which I'll show you in a minute. I'll remind you about this again. Just get that checked before you then start to consolidate the actual 8-week program and the program cards. Your program cards, when you do write them, are going to include warm-up, so cardio, some warm-up exercises, main section of cardio, main section of resistance training, either full body or split, but with twice a week you're going to need full body on each session, unless the client has a history of exercising 4+ times per week, I'd say for more than 6 months, so that then they can also do their own sessions, which mean that you can split the program up into different muscle groups per session. So justify everything that you're doing. Your card includes cool down, the cool down cardio and some flexibility training, and all the usual reps, sets, timings, rests, all that sort of thing. Include as part of your program what physical activities your client is doing external to your training. So again, that is to complement the program or that is different to the program. Just make sure that's all noted down. And then finally, you've got a program modification form which you will complete at 4 weeks. So you'll need to, if you're doing it in real time, you do that 4 weeks. If you're not, just imagine what will be happening at 4 weeks. I'll just go through, that's the marking criteria, that's the logo. There's a little bit here to sign to say that you've read the Code of Ethics from SimSpa. So just take your time, click on that link and read that through. There's your informed consent form. Read about that. There's your screening. There's your questions and your signatures. There's your risk stratification flowchart. There's your definitions of risk factors. And there's following just some other information, just how other bodies do use screening. Here's some notes on your consultation, so some ideas of questions and where you can answer them or ask them, so your client does give you a bit more in-depth information. A little information there about nutrition and how you're going to collect the information on nutrition. Just read that through. That's all about the consultation. This bit is about the 3-day. There is a 3-day food diary to collect information about food intake and nutrition. Example there, and I want you to collect 3 days, 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. This is your consultation screening form. So you put your screening information here, and then you write down all the information you got from your client, including the physical measurements, how many times they're going to train. Now we've said twice. Yeah, you can do 3 times if it's appropriate. If your client is really already doing that a number of times, then that's fine. Details about their occupation, just general details about their eating habits and goals, general goals, what they like, what they don't like. Okay, just some information about barriers there to help you to talk to people and just show empathy about, you know, what's realistic in terms of their attendance at the gym. This is your client analysis form. So this is what you will write down